Hi, everybody. It's Marjorie Waldo at Arts Garage with Marjorie's Minutes for September. I can't believe it's September already, but that means that season is right around the corner, and I'm excited about that. I hope that you'll catch something happening in September because we've still got some great shows, but it's definitely slower for us during the summer months. So I'm excited to get started with season. The first thing I want to tell you about today is our new theater season. It has 5 components, but there are 4 plays that would be traditionally part of our season. The first one is The Cafe on Main by former Mayor Jeff Pearlman, former mayor of Delray Beach. That's on October 11th. He wrote the play and will direct it and produce it here. November 9th, we have The Boomer Legacy by Stephen Young. On December 7th, we're doing another Delray Stories called Fighting for Freedom, honoring our veteran community. If you remember, Delray Stories request submissions from local people who are part of a certain theme. And this year it is veterans. You know, we're celebrating America's 250th birthday. So we've sort of staged it in part of that celebration. And we will tell stories from the perspective of veterans acted out by professional actors. That is on December 7th. And January 11th of 2026, we have Why? An Actor Preparing by Davion Tenarius Brown. So this year, there's something special happening at the end of season, and we've included it in our subscription price, which a ticket for all 5 of these would be $145. You can't beat it with a stick, and you're supporting all these amazing actors and writers and directors and producers. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. All of these plays will ask important questions and make us think a lot. So in the spirit of our typical theater season, I think it will be worth your time. But the new thing we're doing this year is something our director of theater arts, Michelle Diaz, came up with. It's called Out of the Black Box, and it's going to be a theater residency program. So every year we're going to offer our space to a theater company that does not have a space of their own. And this year it's Recchio, the Recchio Ensemble, a theater company out of New York that started a decade or so ago, but doesn't have its own space. They're going to be doing a staged reading and some other things leading up to the performances that will occur between March 12th and March 29th of an original production that they write, direct, act in, and produce. So it's going to be really cool. And I'm hoping that you understand that you're supporting all these amazing artists, performers that need us to show up for them. When I was in theater school, we always followed each other around and went to each other's shows, even if they weren't at the school. And it made each one of us that was participating in a show feel valued and seen. And I hope that you'll consider getting a subscription to our theater season. Okay, so the next thing I want to tell you about is a very exciting thing. It's our new podcast. And I'm going to show you. It is on Apple Podcast and it's on Spotify Podcast. It's called Culture Under Fire with Marjorie Waldo, Making a Case for the Arts. And the purpose of the podcast is very simply to educate the public on how important it is for us to think about the value of the arts in a different way so that we can keep them alive. The arts are part of every great period in history, and they capture moments in our lives so clearly. We can remember where we were and what we were doing when we hear a specific song, or why we wrote a poem, or who we were with when we went to see a play, and why we went there, and what changed in our thinking after participating in these artistic performances, or how you feel standing in front of a painting. I was just standing with some of my administrative team today talking about the exhibit that just went up yesterday that will be available for First Friday Art Walk this Friday. I don't remember the name of the exhibit, but the artwork is really interesting. It has some 4D stuff popping off the walls, and it's very interesting to stand in front of a painting. And the 3 of us, all very different ages and backgrounds, were talking about what we saw in the piece of art. That kind of universal thing is what the arts bring, let alone the economic driver that the arts supply. So the podcast is intended to give you exposure to the feel good stories behind the arts, and to tell you some of the bread and butter of arts and how they impact communities economically, as well as bring us together to celebrate and to feel good, even when other things might be getting you down. If you go see a great musical performance or see a show, you might find out that you're not the only one that feels a certain way. You might see yourself in the artwork on the wall, or you might connect with somebody you've never met before as they perform on the stage. So, our first episode is already available, and it was called, hold on, I forgot the name of it. What was the name of it? Oh no. Seth, do you know what the first one was? Episode 1, Lighting the Match. Lighting the Match had Seth Weaver, our director of marketing, Naja Hardman, our art curator, and Michelle Diaz, our director of theater arts, talking with me. It was a little like an interview, but it's really meant to be a conversation. And I think that comes across in that first episode. You can find it anywhere. And I really hope that you'll follow or subscribe on the platform of your choosing. And you can get the Spotify platform with no cost if you don't have Apple Podcasts or Spotify podcasts already. And I hope you'll leave a rating or a review for us so that it'll organically grow our audience. We think right now is a super important time for us to step up and make sure our community knows why places like Arts Garage are so important to the world, specifically to Delray, of course, in this case, but it's way bigger than that because our artists come from all over and many of our patrons come from all over. So I hope you will tune in to the podcast. You can find it by just searching on the platform for Culture Under Fire with Marjorie Waldo. And you will see this logo pop up when you do that. And then you can listen to the trailer and to the first episode. The second episode, I believe, releases next Tuesday. We will be talking to national people. Next episode is Morgan Funari from the Americans for the Arts Action Fund. So that's a national organization supporting arts and culture in the United States nationally. Then we're going to talk in the second episode of September with Dave Lawrence, the executive director, CEO of the Cultural Council for Palm Beach. So you'll hear lots of different perspectives about why the arts matter. And we hope you'll tune in, share with all your friends, and let us know what you think. All right, I look forward to seeing you soon, and I hope that you're enjoying the end of your summer and the beginning of a beautiful season.